Hi, my name is Jonathan Wright. I was born in Scotland. I've lived in Scotland most of my life. I moved away for a short time to England for about 14 months. But I was born in a town called Lanark, which I now live in. I've ended up returning to Lanark. I am a firefighter. I am also a residential youth care worker. Single, that's where. Sorry. What else? I do a group. I do a young adults group. It's supposed to be for 18s to 30s, but some people sneak in a little bit younger. But it's that rough kind of age group. It started off as a helping and befriending group, but also Christian sort of Bible-based outreach. It's a bit of a mixture. Sometimes it's just people that are coming out of interest to hear what I've got to say, but there's been other times in the past where people are coming because they're in need or because they're lonely. How the church started and why we started it. It's called New Life Christian Fellowship, and we started it because we were at another church. We were happy at the church we were at, we loved the people we were at, and there was some things at that church that we didn't feel, it was a lot of old people and didn't feel it was going anywhere. It was just a group of friends meeting, and we really wanted to evangelise, to tell people about God and to be a bit more free and to do more up-to-date songs. Then God spoke to my father whilst at a conference and told him to go to Lanark and build the church. So when God spoke to my dad, I said I'd support him, and we started the church. You just have to try and spread the word and let people know you're there without it being forced into their face. Because it's not everybody that wants to hear it, and you've got to respect people's privacy. So yes, we are trying to get other people in, but not so that we've got a church with big numbers. That doesn't matter. A church with big numbers has no significance. We don't really belong to denomination at all, so we don't really have any set procedures or like set service where everybody sits down at a certain time and in comes a minister and this happens and that happens. So we just come together and see what happens, but the main focus is Christians getting together to worship their Saviour.
So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
In the fire service, I work in Lanark, Papa 04 Alpha 3. That's the station. I am retained, which is basically part-time. You've got full-time, retained, which is part-time, you've got voluntary. You basically just go, jump in and go over yourself. It's really quick, so you're dressed like that. Everybody asks you stories when you're in the fire service about exciting different incidents you've been to, but quite funnily enough, despite what I've told people about quite dangerous jobs or jobs where we've rescued lots of people's lives, the story that everybody seems to remember and say back to me and thinks is the nicest and the cutest is one where we rescued a puppy, not a human. Very powerful. One time I was using this and I was practising on it, cutting up a car, and it just caught some sort of a bit of metal and it threw me right over and into the car. It was a training environment, so there was no casualties, but it just kind of went like this. But because I was holding it, I went whoosh, straight over it. Right, well, I'm not going to admit that I consider myself heroic. Because that would be vanity. But there's been lots of circumstances where you obviously endanger your life to a degree. I mean, if it's a huge endanger to your life to try and save a building from being on fire, you'll probably stay outside and just not die. Everybody recognises from TV and fire service. Use that every time there's a fire. For some reason you will use this as much as a hose. When there's people inside, you just need to advance forward and feel them with your hands and things, and you go into twos. But I think the scariest thing is the motivation is to save somebody, so that drives you forward. But there's a whole natural instinct that says, do not walk towards this heat. The way you wouldn't stand in front of a bus coming towards you.
Got the old school, old fashioned. I think I still use them in England.
A gut instinct happens, so you have to override that within reason. I mean, you're not going to just kill yourself, but you have to override it, and you're walking towards something very dangerous. So I suppose along that line, it can be a bit frightening. The fire service itself wasn't really enough to progress far, like pays your bills and things, but it was only part-time, so it wasn't enough to progress that far. Things don't just fall into place for you in life, you still have to strive a wee bit, and I had real difficult 2 years financially, and it was just horrible in a lot of different ways. And I remember I got so frustrated with God because I was trying to follow the path God had led me in. So my whole argument was kind of like, why are you leading me in a path that sucks? Why are you leading me a path that doesn't even provide enough for what's going out? There's not enough coming in. Or it wasn't even that, it was just there was so much calamity and bad things happening that I had to pay for. My ceiling fell in, crashed my van, just so much stuff was happening. Every week it was like, give me £700, you know. I feel when God speaks to me, it's almost not comical, but God's got a sense of humour, you know. So there was a part of that, the very sentence that I shouted at him, I was like, where is this? Imagine the sentence had been, where is the beautiful sea? And there was a care home called the Beautiful Sea I've never heard of. It was that kind of a scenario, and I just shouted at God in my anger, because it's a real relationship, so sometimes you get upset. And then 2 nights later at a birthday party, someone who was a director in a company at a care home said, have you ever thought about working at? And the title of this care home was the exact thing that I prayed. So that's how I ended up applying for this work in the care home, working with teenagers and young adults, just 14 to 17 years old, who are coming out of secure units and in the foster care system, and caring for them, and I absolutely love it. I have never felt like I'm meant to be somewhere more in my life. Every day I go in there, I've never once not wanted to go in, and every day I go in there I feel like I'm serving God. Sometimes you feel like you're doing a job at a place, you can feel like you're working. Other times you can feel like I'm doing something for God here, and I happen to be getting paid for it, so it feels completely right. As soon as you work in a place, immediately people notice that you're different. I didn't say better, I just said different. I think not swearing, not lying. There's certain films I won't watch with them, with other staff. Well, they begin to realise you don't get drunk, you don't... I'm not saying that to judge or criticise people who do it, I'm saying people start to notice, and then they ask. So how did I become a Christian? Well, I was raised in a Christian home. My father was a pastor of a church. My mother was a pastor's wife. So I was raised in a home where I went to church every Sunday. So I actually fully believed in God. But believing in God and having a relationship with God aren't the same thing. I believed, but I was being bad. However, all through my life, like from a very young age, I'd get myself in trouble a lot. But in each of these occasions, like when I was little, I'd be like, Lord God, I will become a Christian right now. I'm talking about like 5, 6 years old. If you just stop that teacher from phoning home every time, God would help me. And straight away, like the second I was out of trouble, I'd be like, see ya, sucker. Oops, I maybe shouldn't have done that with the fingers. So these things escalate and escalate as you get older. It becomes more serious, like I have messed with the wrong people, I'm going to get my head kicked in, I deserve it. But it was something extremely bad that nobody would do. It was really wrong. I totally wronged this man. He was a Romanian gypsy. He was extremely big, strong. He was a bodybuilding champion of Wales. It was just not the kind of people you mess with. They're not like the kind of guys that have grown up in school and had a wee fight. They're the kind of people that will just, you'll find your body in a river, right? I used to sleep with a wee bat, a short bat under my pillow, because I had so many enemies. I'd done so much wrong, and this guy kicked my door in the middle of the night. I was caught out and I was in trouble, and there was at one point he had his hands around my neck and he was just going with me, and I was just inside, I just went, Jesus, help! No trade, no I will give you my life, nothing. I was just like, God, help me! I just cried out to God, and I've found in my life, God answers a cry. And the guy let go of me, he didn't even beat me up. He kicked a few things about the room. And then, anyway, it was still very hostile, so there was other people there. But this little old man came in and sat down and went, well, what's going on here? And his accent, and everything in the room just went, whew, and calmed down. I don't know how. And I just knew at that moment my prayer had been answered. I just knew I wasn't in danger anymore. And within about 10 minutes, he had me out the room, and I was saved. So that's how I get saved. And I don't know what he said to them after I was gone. I don't know what all happened, but then he paid for me to get in a train home because I had to run. I had to get out of there. God spoke to me in my heart. It wasn't words. It was just a realization. It's like, you know, sometimes when a penny drops and you understand something. It was just I understood something. He said, I've helped you so many times in your life. You either give your life to me now or I'm leaving. God has helped me so many times. And I tried to shake it off. I went out and met some mates, got absolutely blazing. Like, drank about 16 pints. Got absolutely off my face. And then I was just completely sober as soon as I left all my mates. I was walking back home or I was getting a taxi. I was just completely sober. I'm like, how am I sober? And I couldn't stop thinking about this thing. The whole night I was thinking about it. I was just trying to escape it. And I wrestled with this. Because you do it with things that I think, this is me just going mad. You think it's stupid. It's not a normal thing. And I just wrestled with it. Because I really wanted to become a Christian when I was 80. I wanted to just have a blast in life. Enjoy every kind of sin that I could enjoy. Get rich and famous if I could. Or get lots of money. And then when I was 80, when I had a few years left to live, give my life to God, become a Christian, and go to heaven. That's what I wanted to do. But God basically said, you're not doing that. It's now or it's never happening. So I fought with it. I just fought so hard with it for a weekend. So reluctantly, as a coward trying to save my own skin, I became a Christian. I gave my life to God. That was the last day I got drunk, the last day I got high. I haven't had a fight since then. I haven't been with the girls since then. I haven't, all the other sort of things. I've not been perfect. It's been a difficult road. But since then, that was 8 years odd ago, I have, through different situations, through reading my Bible and praying every day, love has grown. Now I can say 8 years later, I totally and completely love God. And if he offered me the opportunity to get saved when I'm 80 now and to go and enjoy that, I wouldn't do it because I love him now more than I love the things of the world. I'm closer to him than I am to any human being on the earth. Most of my friends, typical lads, don't want to give up sex, they don't want to give up drinking, they don't want to give up porn, they don't want to give up... But these things you probably wouldn't do when you're meeting the person's parents. There's certain things that you don't see as rules when you end up in a relationship. I'm living a different life that I choose now. Because I love God, I'm in a relationship with him, and I like his character. I know his character and his nature. He's revealed it to me in many different ways. So I'm now in love with God. So I wouldn't go back to those things any more than a man who's in love with a woman would go back to another woman. Does that make sense? I wouldn't go back to the world now because I'm in love with God. My future plans, to be honest, apart from I'd like to buy a house because, you know, why not? I'd like to one day own a sort of larger house so that I can have it open to people who maybe need it. Not so that I'm some guy with a huge house. You know, there's a lot of people I've found in the past that I've tried to help with the group, but really what they need is a place to stay. And it can be really difficult in my small flat with somebody sleeping on the couch, 2 people sleeping in my bedroom. It's difficult. It's really difficult. So I'd like to own a house, but other than that, I really have found in the last 8 years, every plan that I've thought to pursue, God has led me in a totally different direction that I never thought of. So I've got to the stage where I tend to, it sounds like it's not a cop-out, I tend to not make too many set in stone plans because I set them in stone. I start to pursue it and God sort of goes, no, I've got this for you, something nothing to do with it in a totally different direction. So I tend to not make too many of my own plans and I just want to follow, if that makes sense.